Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Derica and you are watching Shelf Love with D. Welcome back to another weekly wrap up of my reads and streams. Thank y'all so much for joining me this Sunday evening. I appreciate each and every one of you, and per usual, before we jump into this reading wrap up, let's go ahead and take attendance. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share. Drop me your favorite emoji down in the comments, just letting me know that you were present today, rocking with me with yet another wrap up. Alright, so now all that jazz is out the way, let's go ahead and jump into this wrap up. Y'all already know we're going to start with all things books. So now for my reads. So y'all already know that I have been in my urban fiction bag. I don't know what it's about. I don't understand why, but it has me in a chokehold. And it's more than likely because it's who I have crowned my urban fiction queen, Ashley Antoinette. Between this Prada Plan series and the Ethics series, y'all, I can't read nothing else. I don't want to read anything else. So with that being said, this past week, I read Ethic, book 2 and book 3. As soon as I finished book 2, I immediately ran and read book 3. Now, book 3 was a bit more on the slower pace compared to book 1 and 2. However, it was still very much enjoyable. It was all the touchy-feely, intimate things between Ethic and Alani, and I enjoyed it. Now, according to Goodreads, the girlies was not feeling book 3. The majority of the comments were saying that this was fillers, a lot of internal dialogue happening in this particular book, and not much excitement. Now, for me, I think it was needed after what happened in book 1 and 2. Especially book 2, I think this book was needed. Everybody was like, you can skip this one. I don't agree. There's a lot of revelation happening in this book. There's a lot of character growth happening in this book in particular. There is a lot of honesty and transparency and some background stories from like Ethic and how he was brought up and things that he endured. There's a lot of changes happening within Morgan as well, and her relationship with Messiah. So I definitely feel like this was not a filler book. I think it was needed, and it is just going to better enhance the experience going forward in books 4, 5, and 6 to just have a better understanding of each character. So for me, let me see what I rated it. So book 2, I rated 5 stars. And book 3, I rated 4. It was not my favorite. It was a little on the shorter side, and I can read this book for hours upon hours upon hours. So it was a little on the shorter side for me, but I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't up there in the sense of like things happening. I would even consider like a 4.5. I didn't enjoy it less than the others. It was just very kind of, I hate to even say one dimensional. It just, the other books had things happening left and right with all the characters. This one was just very focused on Alani and Ethic, them coming to terms with things, them offering some forgiveness, some like I said, some self-reflection and some growth and maturing and understanding. So it was just a little different from what this series has been, but nonetheless, I still want each and every book from this Ethics series on my shelf. Ashley Antoinette for me personally is still that girl, and I am ready to read book 4 now. I have been, aside from book 1, I've been reading this book via audio. I just kind of love the production behind it. I like hearing the voices. It just really envelopes me into the story that much more. So I am waiting to be able to use an Audible credit for book 4 so that I can read that. I just literally finished book 3 this morning, and they're all pretty fast reads. I think according to Audible, they're all up between like 8 and 10 hour reads. I read book 1 because I have that one on my shelf, and I still need 2 through 6. But yeah, I definitely am still committed to this series. Would highly recommend this Ethics series. Would highly recommend any books by Ashley Antoinette at this point. I love the way that they brought Yaya into this story, which I'm tempted to put the Ethic series on pause, even though Ashley Antoinette said that you don't necessarily have to read Prada Plan before this one. But since Yaya's been tied or introduced into the Ethic series, I want to know how. I want some background on that. So I'm waiting on Bonnie to read book 2 so that we can buddy read book 3 together. And girl, I am anxious. I'm ready to start that like yesterday. So let me know if you have read book 2. You should have it finished by now because it is just that good. And then we'll buddy read book 3, and I'm ready to finish that series. So it's probably a good thing that I don't have another credit right now for Audible for Ethic, because I would probably blaze through the rest of this. But now that Yaya has been introduced, and if you know, you know. If you don't, you have to read the Prada Plan series to find out who Yaya is. But now that she's been introduced into the Ethic series, now I'm curious as to how it ties together. They give a little bit, but not enough. So I think I will finish the Prada Plan series and then jump back into Ethic. And then I'm going to be checking out all things Ashley Antoinette. And if you don't know, I think her husband is Jaquavius. I'll put it on the screen. He is also an author of urban fiction as well. And they have even written a few books together. So I'm interested in reading those stories as well to see how they do together. If I'm just strictly like Ashley Antoinette, or if her and her hubby, when they co-write together, if I enjoy those stories as well. But highly recommend the Ethic series. And of course, before the Ethic series, reading A Moth to a Flame. But y'all, when I say that the Prada Plan, the Ethic series has been a chokehold, like I'm supposed to be buddy reading Camilla's Roses as well as This Bit of Earth, and those books are very slow, very heavy, very sad. And so I've just been kind of reading those at a leisurely pace, like 10 pages here and there, checking in with my girlies to see what their thoughts are. And we do seem to be on the same page when it comes to those books, and we'll just discuss that in a later wrap up. But they're kind of just in the background, and I'm like blazing through this Ethic series as well as the Prada Plan. I'm just so glad that I got introduced to Ashley Antoinette, because she has got that pen on lock. So moving on to the next, because I can just talk about Ashley Antoinette and her books all day long. There is a book a couple of weeks ago that was a buddy read that I have completely forgot to review. And when I said that out loud, it makes me wonder, like, well, dang, does that say much about my experience with the book that I just forgot to even talk to you guys about it? But it was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and this is book 3 in the Part of Your World series. I rated this book 4 stars. I didn't. I actually said I rated it 3.5 for my experience with the book. I said the romance could have been done a bit better in my opinion. Not one character in this book was mentally healthy or whole. I said 4.25 for the writing / storytelling and representation of real life issues and adequately showing the layers and levels of mental health. So as y'all know, I've said it before, I love me Abby Jimenez's book. She does a great job with giving the right amount of fluff and balance in her stories, and I will just forever love reading Abby Jimenez's books. So with that being said, as y'all have seen probably in Eliza's wrap up of this book, if you have not, I will put it in the description, because she basically summed up my thoughts and feelings as well. All the women in this series have issues and need therapy and need to wait before they start dating. It is just unhealthy and very toxic. And all the men are just very head over heels, willing to do any and everything to win these women over. And of course, the girlies love, when a man loves a woman more than she loves him, or he's feeling her more than she's feeling him, because we like the chase, we like the pursuit. But at some point, there's been enough chasing. Let's go ahead and make some final decisions. Let's figure out what we want. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of back and forth indecisiveness, so that could be a turn off if you're that way as well. This book in particular, especially, there is a lot of back and forth, hesitation, questioning. There's a lot of trauma dumping in this book in particular. So out of the entire series, it was not my most favorite. I did not really like the female main character at all. She really was just Love the main male character, and just for the summer. However, I didn't want him with her. I felt like he deserved somebody better. He was very sure of himself, very committed to her, and even willing to walk through some things with her. And I just feel like it's getting a little tiresome with Abby's books, where the woman is indecisive and crazy and broken and messed up, and then the man is like, he's got his issues too, but he's ready to love and just, you know, gives his all to the relationship and that person. I think out of the entire series, my most favorite is Yours Truly, and then very close, very close would be Part of Your World. I just really liked Jacob, I believe his name is, in Yours Truly. I could relate to him and his anxiety a lot better, and then the female main character was a lot more on board and like ready to be there and be in his corner and support him than all the other females in this series, especially in A Part of Your World. Like, for her to be older than the male main character in Part of Your World, she was very childish. Really thought way too much about what her parents were going to think about who she was dating at her grown age. So this was not my favorite in the series. However, I still will read any and everything by Abby Jimenez. I just love her writing style. This was just my least favorite out of all the books. With that being said, I saw a lot of girls who were like, just for the summer got me back into reading and this, that, and the third. And I am also aware that a lot of people are not reading these books, is not reading this series in order, and kind of like read Just for the Summer first, and or Part of Your World but not Yours Truly, or whatever. So I think that can also affect your opinion of this series, or of this book in particular. If I had not read Yours Truly and Part of Your World, then maybe I would have liked this one a bit more. I didn't dislike it, however, it just was not my favorite, and I would not read this one again in comparison to, like, maybe, well, you know what, I probably, being honest, I probably wouldn't read Yours Truly again or Part of Your World, because it's kind of one and done, right? But if I had to choose, or if I had a friend who wanted to read it but didn't read it alone, it's one of those books I would definitely be willing to read it again for the sake of like a book club or for a buddy read. So moving on now, what was the other book? Oh, the last book that I got read this past week, y'all, was Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. All right, so after I finished this book, I learned that this was her debut book, and for me that made so much sense. Y'all know I loved Monday's Not Coming Down. Loved that book. I felt all the feelings in that book, sat with it afterwards, like took me a minute to regroup. Allegedly, for me personally, read like a debut, and I wish that I had read Allegedly first and then read Monday's Not Coming, because then maybe my expectations wouldn't be so high. This book was a very interesting read. If you're not familiar with Allegedly, the book description is, it says, Mary B. Addison killed a baby, allegedly. She didn't say much in the first interview with detectives, and the media filled in the blanks. And the media filled in the only blanks that mattered. A white baby had died while under the care of a church-going black woman and her 9-year-old daughter. The public convicted Mary and the jury made it official. But did she do it? She wouldn't say. Mary survived 6 years in baby jail before being dumped in a group home. The house isn't really home. No place where you fear for your life can be considered home. Home is Ted, who she meets on an assignment at a nursing home. There wasn't a point to setting the record straight before, but now she's got Ted and their unborn child to think about. When the state threatens to take her baby, Mary must find the voice to fight her past, and her fate lies in the hands of one person she distrusts the most. Mama. No one knows the real Mama, but who really knows the real Mary? All right, so very interesting book description. This book is so hard to describe because overall, I liked the premise of the book. It's overall a good idea for a book. I just think the writing could have been a little better. I did get tired of these so and so said that she did this allegedly. Like, it was like overkill. I'm like, I get it. No one is guilty until proven otherwise. The book is called Allegedly. I get all that, but it kind of got repetitive. However, I did enjoy it. I just feel like it could have been a little bit shorter. It drug on for a little bit. I did like the twists and turns. I did like where it had me questioning, like, did this girl do this or did it not? At the end, I was definitely mouth open, jaw hit the floor. However, I just didn't feel the feels. I didn't sit with that book at the end like, she did that. I didn't have that feeling like Junie gave me, like Yellow Wife gave me, like Butterscotch Blues gave me, like Coldest Winter Ever gave me. Like, I didn't have that feeling that Monday's Not Coming gave me, or Last Summer on State Street. All those books, when I closed that book and read the final page or whatever, I sat there. I had to sit there. I had to regroup before I could go into the other room with my family. I had to just sit with the story and my feelings, and I didn't get that with Allegedly. However, I wouldn't say not read it. I wouldn't not recommend it to somebody else. I would not read this book again. I don't think there's a need to. It didn't stir up anything in me to have me curious to go back to see if I missed anything. It just was an okay read overall. Being that it was not a high enough rating for me, I'm not going to share what I would rate this. And actually, at this very moment, up until this very moment, I still have not even rated it on Goodreads. But I don't regret reading it. It wasn't a terrible read. I just think, like, for me personally, it read as a debut novel. So I am definitely looking forward to reading more by Tiffany D. Jackson. Right now, Monday's Not Coming is my top book by her. That's the one I want on my shelf. Who was I talking to? I think it was Mars Junk Drawer that recommended, like, the Carrie retelling, and she said something about a bed bug book, but I can't read no book about no bed bugs. But I am definitely open to reading I think it's called the Carrie. I'm open to reading the Carrie retelling. But with that being said, I have purchased a lot of books this month and have been gifted a lot of books due to this being my birthday month, and I am at a satisfied place with the books that I have. So going forward, I want to be very careful about what books I purchase. I want to be a good steward of the money that my husband works so hard for, and the space on my shelves. I want to be able to look at my shelves and see every book on there are books that I love, that I would read again, and that I truly enjoyed, and now that I just kind of jumped on because they were popular, they were new releases, or they were so hyped up that I just went out and bought it without even checking into it. So going forward, if they are new to me authors, or if they are just books that are like trending and everybody's hyping them up and it's causing me to be curious, I'm going to read either via Kindle or Libby, Audible, especially new to me authors, to taste test before I buy. And so I'm trying to learn to just calm myself down, not get so caught up, not like, oh, I want this book on my shelves. When my shelves were empty, I was very ready to just buy, because I was ready to have, a collection of my own. But now that I have that and I'm at a satisfied place with that, I'm definitely slowing down on what I'm willing to buy, because what I don't want to do is look up a month or two from now and I am unhauling a gazillion books, and that's just a waste of money, because I know I'm not going to deal with the Pango or anything like that. I discussed with Darnay about like swapping books. I love that idea. Like, if we have books that we didn't enjoy but the other one did or would like to read it, I love the idea of swapping. But even that, I'm just like, I don't want to be giving away a lot of books when I can just calm it down, write a title down, and see who I can borrow it from, or if I can get it through Libby or whatever before actually buying it. We're gonna test drive the car. All right, so that is it, y'all, for my reads. Now on to my streams. This past week, for whatever reason, I have been in my true crime bag once again, and I have been watching like crazy Fatal Attraction over on YouTube. Actually, I know I'm pretty sure they show it like on Sling and stuff like that. But I've just been watching YouTube. YouTube is pretty much all that I watch, and I have been watching episode after episode of Fatal Attraction. They have these people on there that are kind of acting out what's going on, and for me, that element kind of lightens it for me, because I've said before that I used to just binge watch true crime, and it became too heavy, and it started to affect me and my anxiety and things like that. But with these actors, you know, their acting's not the greatest, and so like if they're acting out an argument or they're acting out when the person snaps, I'm able to just watch it without feeling so heavy. Now don't get me wrong, there's still been times that they'll play like a real recording of like someone's 911 call or something, or they'll play like where a grandparent or a parent is like crying because, you know, they just found out their loved one passed away, and I'll get choked up. But it's definitely not as heavy as like when I was watching like First 48 or Snapped or things like that. So it's called Fatal Attractions. If you are interested, check them out over on YouTube. I also finished up Bridgerton finally. I got over like the whole Cinderella thing. Someone in the comments had told me to stick with it because the Cinderella element didn't last very long, and you were right. So thank you to you, whoever you are. I cannot remember your name, but thank you for telling me to stick with it. It didn't last very long. Overall, this season was just okay. I still say, and I know they're following the book, but they should have kept Lady Whistledown a secret. It kind of ruined it for me after they revealed her. But one thing that I love this season, but I actually loved every season, but this season in particular, they really showed out on was her wigs. And I don't hear anyone talk enough about Queen Charlotte's or Lady Charlotte's wigs and dresses. I'm going to put some up on the screen that are my favorite ones, but oh my gosh, they showed out. I was reading like one of her interviews where she said that with her role, she wanted to be able to represent her, you know, her race, her ethnicity through her hair, because that's what we do, right? Our hair is our art. It's the way we express ourselves, and she wanted to do that with her wigs, and I love that. Like, oh my gosh, her wigs are just amazing. So that's really all I've been watching on this past week or two. Has been so busy between soccer tournaments and prom and birthdays and just life and doctor appointments, sick kids. Woke up one morning, he's throwing up everything in him, and a kid who broke his tooth from trying to ride a scooter, so that was a dental visit. And so it's just been crazy busy in our household, but we are trudging through. All is well. We're doing good overall. Just very, very busy. So I've not done a whole lot of watching of TV. And another reason why audiobooks have really just been my thing this past week or two, because we've just been going. At the end of the day, I'm crashing. I try to sit down and read a couple of pages of Camilla's Roses or This Bit of Earth, and I'm like, because it's slow too. So I just pop an earbud in, listen to it till I fall asleep, listen to Ethic and Messiah doing some shoot 'em up bang bang stuff before I doze off and go to sleep. So that is it. That is all, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you coming back week after week. Our little family over here is just growing, and I'm just truly grateful for each and every one of you. Pretty soon I will be sharing my birthday book haul with you guys, and thank you to everyone in advance who sent me something for my birthday. It just makes me feel so special, and I've just never had that before outside of like my family, who, you know, surprises me with things on my birthday. And for you guys to do it, to spend your hard-earned money on little old me, just really shows that you feel for me just as much as I feel for you guys, and our Booktube family and our friendship is growing. So I really appreciate that. Thank y'all so much. That is all for today, and until next time, don't forget to show yourself some love today.
Blessed with another chance, blessed with another chance, blessed with another chance, I am